I lived in a place called Okfuskee. Had a little girl in a holler tree. I said, little girlie, it's plain to see that there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. She said to me, it's hard to see how one little boy got so ugly. I said, little girlie, well, that might be, but there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. I took her down to Buckeye Creek to see the frog eat the goggle-eyed bee, to hear the west wind whistle to the east. And there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. I said, let me see where it goes now.
Is this where they make out or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, little girlie, will you let me see way over yonder where the wind blows free? No one can see us in our holler tree. And there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. There ain't nobody that can sing like me. Her mama cut a switch from a cherry tree, and she laid it on the back of she and me. And it stung much worse than a hive of bees. But there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me.
Any of yours? Sounds really less baller.
I wrote this after a strange event in my life. It involved the Ouija board. And I didn't feel like I could write the word Ouija into the song. And after all, what rhymes with Ouija but squeegee? So I just didn't think people would take it as serious. I was out running with Vance Gilbert, who's a friend of mine. He's a wonderful, talented guy. And he said, why don't you come over to my place for dinner? We're having a dinner party, and you can catch up with everybody. And I said, sure. So my girlfriend at the time and I went to this dinner party, and his girlfriend, Margaret, and I apologize for the length of this story, aren't you? Just pretend like you're comfortable. Vance's girlfriend was at the sink. She was cutting carrots, and I said, Margaret, what have you been up to? And she said, well, Alice, you won't believe it, but I just bought this Ouija board for $1 at a garage sale with my friend Beth, and we've been on it every night like it's the internet or something. We're extremely addicted. And I said, are you talking to a ghost? And she said, in fact, we are. A ghost named Margaret Putnam. She likes to be called Pug. She says she was a nurse in the Civil War, and I said, get out of town. No, she said, really? She was married to a doctor, lived on Beacon Street. She told us where she was buried and everything, but she said not to go there, so we're not going to go. But she was married to a doctor, and she served as a nurse in the Civil War, and I said, you're full of beep. So I said, let's take it out during the dinner party. So 12 of us gathered into the living room, and I was the person that was asking the questions. And I said to the board, well, what was the name of the last song I played during my last show the night before? And nobody at the board, or 2 women there, had been at that show, but it spelled out R-A-I-N, rain. And sure enough, the last song I had done the night before was a song called Let It Rain. But there are a million songs with rain in it, and I thought, well, if that was going to be a good guess, that was not a bad word to choose. So I said, what's the name of the person that books all my shows? Knowing that neither woman at the board would know who that would be. They had no connection to that part of my life, but it spelled out G-E-R-M-A-N-E, Germaine. And sure enough, Sarah Germaine was the person that booked my shows, but she has an I in Germaine. And Ouija boards don't have spell check or anything like that, but I thought that was kind of creepy, and it was starting to freak me out a little bit. So I said, what did Vance and I have to drink before we came to the party tonight? And it spelled out N-O-G. And I got up and I ran into the bathroom and I locked the door. A half an hour later, they coaxed me out, and my girlfriend's sister had passed away. She was an important person in my life, and we said to the board, is Allison there? And the board said yes, and then we said, does Allison have anything to say to us? And it went to the word love. And then we put the board away, and I wrote this song about the conversation that was going on there. And about 2 years later, I was playing in Middleborough, Massachusetts at a folk club that was doubling as something else, which all folk clubs do. This one happens to double as a Methodist church. That's where the big bucks are. And I was at a club in Middleborough, Massachusetts. Downstairs was an antique shop, and it was a community theater. And I was in the green room, and I was warming up, and I looked to my left, and there was these series of books that said Boston 1864, Boston 1865, Boston 1866, and I realized it was a directory of the city of Boston, and I could look up Margaret Putnam. So I grabbed a book, and I followed it down all the way to the P's, and there were like 100 Putnams, and I couldn't find Margaret. And then I remembered she was married to a doctor. That's right, she lived on Beacon Street. So I looked down, and there was Dr. Putnam on Beacon Street. And then I ran to the bathroom and locked myself in. I shook the whole thing off with this song.